If you're watching this video, it probably means that you were involved in a car accident and you're wondering whether you qualify for a personal injury case. If you were involved in a car accident, you may be entitled to money damages for the injuries that you sustained in the car accident, but only if you sustained a serious injury as that term is defined in New York's insurance law. I'm John DeGasperis. I'm a personal injury lawyer based out of Kingston, New York. I've handled more than 500 personal injury cases. I've recovered more than $30 million on behalf of my clients. In this video, I'm going to discuss New York State's serious injury threshold, and I'm going to help you understand whether or not your injuries qualify for compensation under the law. The first point that I need to make is that being involved in a car accident is not enough. Many people come to my office thinking that because they were rear-ended in a car accident, that means that they are entitled to money damages. This is simply not the case. New York State is a no-fault state. This is an insurance system that's intended to ensure that virtually everyone involved in a car accident gets some basic level of insurance coverage. No fault covers economic losses only, such as medical bills, lost wages, and other reasonable expenses, such as travel to and from doctor's appointments that one might incur as a result of a car accident. The trade-off, however, is that because everyone gets coverage for these financial losses, not everyone gets compensation for his or her injuries. Instead, the law requires that people who sustain injury in a car accident must first show that they have a serious injury. The law attempts to define what is considered serious, and only those people with serious injuries are entitled to damages for their injuries and pain and suffering. Now, many people feel that this is unfair. I can't say that it's my favorite law as a personal injury lawyer because it certainly makes my job representing injured clients more difficult. However, I've become proficient at handling car accident cases and handling a multitude of injuries. There are 9 categories of serious injury as defined by New York State's insurance law. The first 6 are obvious: death, dismemberment, fracture, significant disfigurement, loss of fetus, or a permanent loss of use of a body member, organ, or system, such as going blind as a result of an accident. There are 3 remaining categories that I call the catch-alls. These typically cover soft tissue injuries that are not as obvious as the other 6 categories. Here we have a permanent consequential limitation of use of a body function or system. We have a significant limitation of use of a body function or system. And then we have a category called the 90 out of 180 day category of injury. This says that if an injured person cannot substantially perform his or her usual activities for a period of 90 out of the 180 days following an accident, then this individual may qualify. What does all this mean? Well, it can be a real pain, and that's why I'm here. That's why you hire a lawyer to help navigate through the process. A significant limitation means that for some period of time, the injured party is significantly limited as to the use or function of a body part. A permanent consequential limitation, by contrast, means that there's a permanent injury of a consequential nature. And then, as I said, there's this 90 out of 180 day category of injury, which basically means that if somebody cannot do what they normally do for 90 out of the 180 days following the accident, he or she may qualify. So how do you know if your injuries qualify for one of these 9 serious injury thresholds? Well, your subjective complaints of pain are not enough. The courts have said that injury victims cannot simply complain about an injury. Instead, we have to have objective medical evidence of an injury. This typically comes in the form of an X-ray, a CAT scan, an MRI, some objective test that shows evidence of an injury. Then we need a medical expert, typically the treating physician, to say that the injury, as depicted in the diagnostic study, reveals evidence of an injury that is causally related to the accident. If we can prove those things, then you have a case, and we will probably be able to get you compensation for those injuries. But I always tell my clients, the mere fact that you go through all of this trouble, getting medical appointments, getting physical therapy, going through these tests, doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have $1 million case. Instead, by going through all of those steps in the process, you put yourself in the best position to get compensation for your injuries. Now, like I said, I have become proficient at handling injuries that fall within all 9 of those categories. There are many law firms, however, that will only take cases involving death, dismemberment, fractures. But those cases are harder and harder to come by with vehicles being so safe. In fact, I would say that 90% of my cases are not the 6 obvious categories. Instead, most of the litigation that I handle fall within the 3 catch-alls, the 3 categories that cover the soft tissue injuries. If I didn't take cases that fall within those categories, I would help fewer people. But I enjoy helping a broad range of people because many people sustain injuries that involve neck sprains, back sprains, joint injuries, maybe the shoulders or the knees. And we have become very good at helping those types of injury victims. We know now that cars are so safe that they protect us from these more catastrophic type of injuries. Instead, now we see particularly shoulder injuries from seatbelt use. We see facial trauma from airbag deployment. We see knee injuries from blunt force trauma to the underside of a dash. We see a multitude of things. If you feel that your injuries have changed the quality of your life, you should consider contacting a lawyer. You want to hire a lawyer that handles only personal injury cases. You should not work with the general practitioner because these types of cases have become so idiosyncratic. Your lawyer must know how to handle cases involving car accidents and the serious injury threshold. I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope that you gained some insight into the factors that personal injury attorneys will consider for personal injury cases that emanate from car accidents, and good luck to you.